What up, everybody? Let me move this over here. Okay, so this how the Berrics Steve Berra screwed me over video. 1 hour and 18 minutes long. You wouldn't believe that I've watched this twice, by the way, and I've watched both of these videos twice. So I've basically committed myself to like almost a trilogy of Batman movies. This guy's name is the Hyphenate. The Hyphenate. Man, this guy needs to learn how to abbreviate. Here's what I'm going to do. Because the video is so long, I don't want to just, play the whole thing and then, talk about it. Also, I don't know if this guy, he might think I'm annoying. He might hate me or something and might copyright my video. Yo, I'm going to be paraphrasing things that he says in his video. By the way, just coming back from the United Kingdom, people look different. They look a little different over there. This is the most American person that I've ever seen. Fitted cap that says "Doubt Me" on the front of it. That's so America swag. Oh, before I start this, we should just cover quickly this statement that Chef Bobo put out. Oh my god, this guy, man. Eric Costin and Steve Berra are 100% back in control of the Berrics. Thank God, guys. I saw some comments on Instagram that when this got put out and people were like, so no more Cariuma? No, that's Steve Berra's thing. Like, this whole thing is a complete farce. But I read this, what was it, a week and a half ago when this came out, and that was my first reaction. Like, fuck that. Steve Berra is obviously the man in charge at the Berrics. It couldn't be any more obvious, I remember OG McGee, that skate show that, oh my god, I hope he doesn't come back for a second season if that dude is still even fucking alive. It's so clear, Steve, he's the fucking host of the Battle at the Berrics. He hosted the skate show. Everything that happens at the Berrics is a reflection of Steve Berra's current state of mind. He controls all of this shit. So all of what we're about to read, completely untrue. And written in the most unnecessarily dramatic fashion, like Steve wants to, write novels or something. It is with significant pleasure that we can report to you now that we, Eric Costin and Steve Berra, are 100% back in control of the Berrics. Right. Eric Costin is in the same exact corner of the Berrics playing Candy Crush Saga that he has been at for the last 5 years. He didn't give a shit then. He clearly doesn't give a shit now. Contrary to popular belief, it's been almost 5 years since we've effectively had any influence over what we created. Bullshit! How it was run, what we made, and what it stood for. What does the Berrics stand for? He is aware of the fact that the Berrics fucking sucks now. And so instead of taking responsibility, which is Steve Berra's number one fear, by the way, that'll be evidenced in this video. What he does is he uses the fact that Hypebeast were majority owners as a scapegoat, where I think if you look at the major decisions that the Berrics has made, doing a massive bracket, 64-man bracket, which was a total disaster. They had all the Cariuma dudes in there. Steve works for Cariuma. He's their little, skate manager guy. Doing the deal with caffeine, that was Steve Berra. Hypebeast was cut out of that deal. They didn't even know it existed. 5 years forced to the sidelines, largely silent. He's just lying in the most epic style. Largely silent, being told what we can and cannot do, or else suffer the consequences. Dude, what consequences? Notice everything in this is extremely vague. Suffice to say, it was painful. Yeah, that part is actually true.
Sorry. Hey, remember sorry?
However, we always knew this day would come. Naturally, as skateboarders, here we go, everybody. We believe that we are dead to the degree that we do not fight, that the pain we experience in these battles, whether it be for tricks or anything else in life, fades under the triumph of our victories. Dude, shut the fuck up, man. Why are you trying so hard? Do you have any idea who your audience is? It's completely unnecessary. He's writing this is a memoir and he fought in World War II. These are just internet skateboard videos, dude. It's not that fucking serious. It's not that crazy. So fight we did, and victorious we emerged in the fight for our company and our names. Yeah, right. There's everybody's fault but yours, dude. Now we could likely beat Mike Vallally's 9-club running time with all the sordid details. Oh my god. What is the point of using the adjective sordid? How many people do you think that are reading this right now, Steve, know what sordid means? But the pain and ignorance is behind us, and the enjoyment that we have planned ahead is what will ultimately endure. So there's no need to perpetuate the oblivious and let the last 5 years live anywhere but in the past. So he is saying everything that went wrong wasn't Steve's fault, wasn't Eric Koston's fault. We all knew that. But it was all Hypebeast. Now that they're out of the picture, everything is going to be smooth sailing from this point on. He's using Hypebeast as a scapegoat. I highly doubt Hypebeast even gives a fuck anymore. I'm sure they probably just want nothing to do with the Berrics. His brain is like just a bag of marbles and scrambled eggs. Nothing that he says or does, there's no logical consistency to any of it. Anybody with any talent or original ideas, somebody that would be attractive to Berra and somebody who would be a good fit at like a skateboarding production company, like a content generating location like the Berrics is, they're not going to want to work for Berra. If you're good at something, you'll have options for who you want to work for. And Berra, being the shitty boss that he is, he's not going to be able to maintain these people, even if he can attract them in the first place. He needs good employees, and I don't think that he's going to be able to get them because he treats his employees really badly. Our site, our social, and our content and our e-commerce will all undergo change. Yeah, you can see they even changed the Berrics logo, so you know that this is legit. As swift as we can make it, we may not do everything right at first, as there is a lot to clean up, but you can trust we are now able to do it for the right reasons. For everyone who loves skateboarding and for all of you who supported us throughout the years despite these choppy waters, thank you and Happy New Year. Anyway, let's go to this video made by this Hyphenate bloke. This guy's epic. He's a total sweetie pie. He's like one of those business dudes that's like, it's just business, man, which I think kind of like that mindset ended up fucking him over a lot of times. So I'm gonna read you through what went on here with my notes here, with my 19 pages of notes. So he's making this video. The reason he puts out this video is because he says after he and the Berrics parted ways that Steve was going around to people in the industry telling them that this Hyphenate guy was shady. Never actually mentioned specifically what it is that Steve Berra is saying. It's just general negative things, and he's like trying to tarnish the Hyphenate's pristine reputation. And he also says he has proof of everything that he's going to say in this video, and I believe from his perspective that everything this dude is saying is true. I think it would be hard to make up an hour and 20 minutes of information the way that this guy does. The reason that this dude, I guess, and Berra got acquainted is through some contest or whatever. We don't really care. Then like 10 years pass or something, and then Berra and this guy like meet up again, and Berra wants to expand the Berrics outside of skateboarding. He wants to do gaming, he wants to do podcasts, and he wants to do like tech videos, which, I mean, the Berrics tech, I'm not trying to tell skateboarders that they can never like do anything else outside of skateboarding, because I don't believe that, but like, you know, it seems like the Berrics can barely handle what the Berrics is supposed to be handling, like their main thing, which is Battle at the Berrics. They hardly eke that out. What did it take, like over a year for them to complete that bracket? So I don't think they need to add any tech videos onto their plate. Also, like, you know, you just look at the tech video market on YouTube, it's massive. I don't know why the Berrics would want to get into that market. It's already like completely dominated. The Berrics actually has a foothold in skateboarding. So, I mean, pretty bad ideas in my opinion from Berra, but that's just my 2 cents on it. I don't see the Venn diagram between skateboarders and like tech videos being very large. Okay, so Berra offers him a job at the Berrics doing podcast / gaming / tech stuff. And apparently this is what Berra does to a lot of people. Initially, he like sweet talks them. He tells them how valuable they're going to be and how he's going to have like a lot of uses for them. The next thing that would happen is Berra would say, let's schedule a meeting, and then to like, you know, talk about a business plan, create a blueprint, a rough draft or whatever. And then Berra would schedule this dude, and he would show up at the Berrics, and he would make him wait hours to meet. He would say, I would show up to the Berrics at the time where Berra would tell me to, and then he'd make me wait 3 to 4 hours. That's what this dude said. 1 hour to meet somebody. It's like, damn, that's kind of fucked up. Like, yeah, that's a lot. 2 hours, 3, 4 hours. Okay, how much disrespect are you willing to take from somebody? If somebody's going to tell you to show up somewhere and you wait 4 hours to meet them, at some point or another, that's not on that person anymore. That's on you. If somebody is treating you that poorly, you need to pick up on the social cue and be like, oh, wow, this person isn't taking me seriously. I'm being disrespected right now. Take action and remove yourself from the situation. Now, this guy said this happened like multiple times over like a several month period. Like, dude, Berra is like he's disrespecting the shit out of you, and you just keep showing up. So yeah, it doesn't mean that it's right what Berra is doing, but also like some of the onus is on you, man. Like if somebody does that to you once, twice, 3 times, like grow a pair of balls, dude, and walk away. And this guy's like his reasoning behind it was he was like, well, I understand that, you know, Berra's a businessman. It's like, dude, what the fuck? Like, if you're a good businessman, like if you want to conduct business in a professional manner, you're not gonna make people wait 3 to 4 hours. If you were actually somebody that Berra considered to be valuable, he wouldn't do that to you. He like that's if Berra was really concerned with having you employed and that was something he was actually prioritizing and he was eager to have you working with him, then he wouldn't treat you this way. Actions speak louder than words. So you got to feel bad for the guy, but also it's like, come on, man, like have a little bit of self-respect, take some initiative, and read the writing on the wall. Anyway, essentially, Berra says that, you know, he wants to do all this tech stuff. He wants to do this podcast. He wants to build the studio, but he doesn't have the money to do it. And so our friend here, the Hyphenate, he makes the genius decision. He says, oh, you guys don't have any money? The people that are going to hire me don't have any money? Well, I'll just build the studio out of my own pocket. His reasoning for this is he's like, the Berrics can offer me exposure, and that's what I need. I don't need money off rip, but I need exposure for what I am doing, which is like my music, my YouTube videos, and my tech channel, which I have checked them out. I have checked out the Hyphenate's, his work, and it doesn't do very well. If we crack 1K views, that's a huge win. Don't drown yourself for others. Food for thought, 97 views. Star Wars theme, binary sunset, hip hop / rap remix. Here's the thing about this, and maybe this would be somewhat useful to other people who think they need to promote themselves. If you've been working on something for a long time, right, and you're not picking up any traction, it's just not really going well for you, the way that these tech algorithms work and shit is it's very rare that people legitimately get like blacklisted from YouTube, from what I can tell. Like I've hardly stumbled on a video with like 500 views where I'm like, I can't understand why not everybody is obsessed with this. Usually the stuff that has, from my experience, usually the stuff that has a mediocre reception is because the thing that is being offered is mediocre. Now, this guy, I think, is under the impression that if he had the exposure that the numbers that the Berrics could potentially offer him, then his content would be more successful. Unfortunately, I think he's mistaken. I think that his content it's not great, if we're going to put this nicely, and there are tons of people who are offering the same exact thing that he is offering, like these podcast clips, like Why I Stay Single, Food for Thought, the Hyphenate, like when they say like everyone has a podcast, everybody thinks that they have something valuable to share and to communicate. You could literally insert one of these and use it as an example. The problem that I see with this dude and like these little bits of wisdom that he's sharing is like, dude, if you're talking to JP Morgan, I have no idea if that guy's alive or dead, but if you're talking to like a really successful person, you get them on a podcast and they're gonna like, you know, share their insights and the ways in which that they've become a success, that's content that people are gonna be interested in hearing. Nobody's going to want to hear your wisdom / your pieces of advice, dude, because you're running a YouTube channel that averages 100 views. Why would anybody want to hear from you? So this is just like a blaring logical disconnect that this dude suffers from. So he thinks if he gets on the Berrics, then he's going to get more exposure for his content, and maybe he's going to become more successful, which unfortunately I think was not really. He's been at it for a while too, by the way. He didn't just start this yesterday. Okay, so 2 months of Berra asking for business plans and blueprints, and then he would just keep rescheduling with this dude, and he wouldn't even read the emails, and basically this guy just kept sending him the same business plan over and over again, and he was being strung along. I think Berra has this problem where he doesn't he's clearly not interested in this dude, and this guy is taking Berra's be like, oh no, yeah, man, like we'll totally get it done. Like he's taking that as like being serious, so he just keeps getting fucked around over and over again, and he doesn't give up. He said that this could be the biggest opportunity of his career, despite, Berra treating him like shit. He also says that he saw that Berra would hire interns. This is the way that Berra does business. He would hire interns for like a specific use, like a specific task, something that they were fluent in, and then once they had accomplished that task for him, then Berra would let them go. So basically, Berra would just like pick up people for free labor, and I think he would use the reputation, what's left of it, of the Berrics to attract people and be like, oh yeah, we could do something big here. And you could potentially have a job here once you finish this internship. I imagine that would be the kind of thing that Berra would say to people, and then he would just use them and kick them to the curb, which I guess maybe is not technically illegal, but is obviously like really immoral. I think that if I'm not mistaken, I read a couple of comments, this is like a strategy that is pretty popular in the circles of Scientology. They like to do that. So I think this guy was seeing all this go down, by the way, but still like didn't give up, I guess. And Berra was able to do this because Berra doesn't sign people to contracts usually. I don't think he gives them his word, he talks a big game, and he does handshake deals, and then he chops them. Yeah, so basically after the Hyphenate says he'll build everything, he'll build the whole studio out of pocket, insane, Berra okays it because Berra says that the Berrics doesn't have any money, and then Berra gives him a space in the Berrics to create a studio. And this guy, he says he put everything in his life on hold during this time, his other businesses, his music, videos, his documentary things that he does. He's acting like, he's stepping away from something that's going really successfully. And again, maybe there's something about this guy I don't understand, but looking at his YouTube channel, looking at his body of work, I can't imagine that it's generating much money. So anyway, he acts like it's a big deal that he put all of that on hold, which from my perspective, I think that it makes sense why he was so eager and persistent to try to break into something new and create a new opportunity for himself, because the thing that he had going on wasn't really going too well. So, I think this guy is telling the truth, but I think that in instances like that, from my perspective, what I can tell, he's not really accurately illustrating, for example, what he had to give up to make something like this happen. Sure, he spent a lot of money, but again, he wasn't walking away from something that was going well. If it was going well, then he probably wouldn't have been so persistent and willing to take all of Berra's punishment and disrespect. In his proposition to Berra, which is psychotic, by the way, what he wanted to do, and this seems to be like the big problem between the two of them. Berra can't just tell him like, no, that's a bad idea, don't do that. He says he wanted to do 2 podcasts a week and 3 gaming videos a week through the Berrics. So he wanted to upload 5 times a week, something that had never even been tested out on the Berrics before. He wanted to do 5 uploads per week. That's so much shit to be putting on the Berrics. How good are your videos going to be if you're essentially doing 1 per business day? Like, they're not going to be good. He proposes he can get extra gear to do these videos from brands for a studio build, because he put up the 10K, but he said with other gear he could make the fucking studio better or something. He says he promised these companies 5 videos per week, and he doesn't even say how long this is going to go on for. Is this a year of 5 videos per week? Is this 2 weeks of 5 videos per week? He just says that he signed a contract with them promising them 5 videos per week. In exchange for that, these companies would send him the gear itself, which, holy shit, dude. Like, wait, what? You're supposed to be like a business guy. 5 a week in exchange for like a microphone and some foam panels? What are you, fucking out of your mind? Maybe 1 video you trade for a microphone, but like, $10,000 like worth of additional gear, like that's not how you do business, especially if you're going to be uploading them through a site that is as big as the Berrics. If you're actually providing something that these companies would be enthusiastic about, like if you're actually somebody that people are taking seriously, they're not going to send you the product as the form of payment for 1 million videos. You need to be getting cash per fucking video. I've never done a deal like this in my life. I've never done a sponsored video, but even I know, like, if I was going to do a fucking video for a microphone company or something, I'm not just going to let them send me the microphone. And like, you don't put their logo up in the background because they sent you 1 fucking microphone or something, or they gave you like $3,000 worth of gear. That's nothing to them. They make a bazillion of these fucking things. So that just blew my mind that he thought that that was smart. It's 5 videos a week? Desperate behavior. Anyway, Berra's not telling him off, which is Berra's fault, and it's also this guy's fault for not realizing that Berra's actually not that interested in what's going on. And I think Berra was viewing this dude the same way that Berra views a lot of other dudes, which is, I just want to take advantage of this guy, use him for the resources that he can provide for me, and then once I'm done with him, I'm going to cut him off, which is exactly what happened. But I do feel kind of bad for the Hyphenate, but like there were so many telltale signs that this was going to go south and had been going south the entire time. This guy's going to be in charge of the Berrics gaming. He went to Berra, who said, you need to find a guest for the show. And he went to the general manager to get like the list of like skaters or whatever, their phone numbers to book them onto the show. And what this guy does is after he gets the contact list, he texts Jamie Thomas, Paul Rodriguez, and Tony Hawk. And he says, hey, I'm doing a gaming channel on the Berrics. I'm this guy you have never heard of. Do you want to come on and be a guest? Which obviously, like, okay, shoot for the stars, dude. But, you know, let's be a little fucking realistic here. He thought he'd get Paul Rodriguez and Tony Hawk to do like the first episode of a show that they've never seen before, where they like sit down and play video games in like some shitty room at the Berrics. Come on, dude. Like, this is, from my perspective, this is one of this guy's biggest like drawbacks, is he seems like his social awareness like seems to be pretty low if he's texting Tony Hawk asking him to play video games for the Berrics.com. He tells Berra what he did, and Berra gets mad. He gets mad at the Hyphenate for texting these people and says, you don't do that. I'm supposed to do that. Like, you need to send me the list of people that you want to have on the show, and I'll reach out to them. And of course, the Hyphenate's like, this is a big theme. The Hyphenate's like, I already sent you that. I already sent you a million things. Like, I already told you the list. And Berra just keeps like, you know, putting him off and icing him. So again, we have the same pattern that's going on, which is Berra is a fucking psychotic asshole, and this guy is like basically, I'm sorry to this dude because he'll probably see this video, but this dude is basically like a puppy dog, like following him around. At some point, you got to run away from home, dude, if the owner keeps kicking you in the fucking head. Basically, Berra puts him in a position where he can't make any moves without his approval, and he doesn't give him approval. So he's completely gridlocked and is obviously frustrated, but still is like trying to make it happen. He finally does the gaming live stream, and he started off, he was shooting for Paul Rodriguez and Tony Hawk. He ends up with Scapegoat and Garrett Jenner. A little bit of a downgrade, but we'll take what we can get. And then after that first live stream, I think nothing happens for a while. Like Berra says, let's talk, and then we'll talk about, you know, what we can do with the future of this gaming thing. And then Berra ignores him for a while, and this guy gets ignored for so long that he gives Berra an ultimatum. And he's like, either I'm going to leave and take all my gear with me, or you have to like give me the clear to make more of these gaming videos. What's funny is this guy says that he installed Ring cameras inside the studio space, and whenever Berra would have like a high profile guest at the Berrics, he would always take them to this studio space that this guy built and be like, yeah, the Berrics is gonna do like a podcast and like gaming and like tech shit, and he would like show it off like it was a really big deal. Meanwhile, the guy that built it and that actually wanted to use it, he like won't even let him fucking make anything. Berra's totally full of shit. What I think is maybe going on here that doesn't really get confirmed or addressed in this Hyphenate guy's videos is I think Berra probably wanted the stuff that the Hyphenate brought to the Berrics. Like, he wanted to use it. He saw potential in like a podcasting space, but he didn't want the Hyphenate guy to be the person behind it. And I think the Hyphenate wanted to be the guy because he built the studio. He was filming the stuff. He wanted to be like the face of, he wanted that section of the Berrics to be like his thing. But I think that that's probably what was going on, and that really isn't explored in this part of the video, which I understand. This guy says, he's like, originally one of the things that he thinks the Berrics did well is that they had personalities that would draw people back to the Berric. Donovan Strain, and Retta, and then what do we have, like Mikey Taylor, Mikey Days. Yeah, like you had these series with these personalities. It was fun to watch the Berrics, and I think that this Hyphenate dude views himself as being somebody that can carry like a recurring segment on the Berrics, like doing a podcast, where I think if you go and you look, you watch some of this guy's podcast clips, it's pretty clear that he's not the dude to do that. So I think that may have been one of the sticking points between him and Berra and him and the Berrics is He wanted to be the face of something. They didn't want him to be the face of something, but he still has like skills that would be valuable to the Berrics. Like he knows how to use all of this equipment. He's good from probably the production side of things, but in terms of actually being an entertaining character, I don't think that he is. The stuff that he makes just isn't that good. And I think that's the truth of it. And I don't think that he is capable. Maybe nobody at the Berrics told him that, and he doesn't seem to be capable of realizing that. So anyway, so the next thing, Berra keeps sending all these subliminals to this dude that he really doesn't like him. And this is the funniest one by far. I mean, at some point, like, Berra's so fucking conniving and maniacal that you kind of have to just laugh. Apparently, there was a week where Berra was skating the Berrics, which he, like, never does. And everything in the Berrics is pretty much, like, sanitized. Nobody really, like, stickers or tags any part of the park except for these 2 green benches. And the Hyphenate had put a Doubt Me sticker, which is his brand, which I will be ordering a hat from shortly. He puts a Doubt Me sticker on one of the benches, and during the week where Berra was skating the Berrics, that Doubt Me sticker went missing. So this guy's theory is that Berra removed the sticker from the green bench while he was skating the Berrics. But also Berra told this dude on the gaming, when he was doing the gaming channel videos, that he didn't want him wearing any of his Doubt Me gear. Even though that was like part of the original agreement that they had made, is that like they would work together and he could use, the Berrics platform to like collaborate and boost his Doubt Me brand. But yeah, I just thought that was a fucking hilarious detail. Anyway, he's doing these gaming videos, I think, and he ends up not getting approval for the podcast, even though he claims that like he should have because the gaming videos were good, which, I mean, I remember looking on the Berrics, and you can't actually see any of the view counts anymore from these gaming videos, but I remember when I would just be browsing casually, recreationally, I'd be looking at the Berrics feed. When I'd see these gaming videos pop up, I'd be like, what the fuck are the Berrics doing? Why is this something that they're attempting? And he's like, yeah, these Berrics videos did really well, or they did really good. No, they didn't. Like, every time I would see one of these things on the Berrics, it would be like the lowest viewed thing on there. So this is, again, I think a problem that the Hyphenate has, which is he is unrealistic with the standard of his own work and the success of his own work. He goes on to say that like these videos average like 10,000 views or something. Maybe they did, maybe they didn't. I don't know. That could be a small exaggeration on his part. But even if they did average 10,000 views and you made fucking 32 of them, that sucks for the Berrics. The Berrics videos get way more than 10,000 views. He even says like, yeah, well, like Berra had said that nobody was watching these things and they got no views, when actually if you look at all of the views and you tally them up, they equal 250,000. It's like, oh, what? You made 32 fucking gaming videos and they ended up with a total of 250,000 views combined? Like, first of all, that doesn't even make sense with the 10K views. That would be 320,000 views. But also, like, 10K views, fuck it, 250K views sucks balls for 32 videos, the total of them. One Berrics video can get fucking 250,000 views. Like, he's not capable of seeing that the standard that the Berrics, as shitty and dumb fucking stupid as it is, he's not capable of seeing that standard, that he's not reflecting that standard, and he's not recreating that standard, which is what you would have to do as an employee of the Berrics. I mean, he doesn't get that, and nobody at the Berrics has the fucking testicular fortitude to tell him that. So it's just a horrible combination. But anyway, sorry, I'm getting a little worked up here. Yeah, so he doesn't get approval for the podcast, and he's like, fuck, that doesn't make any sense. Why didn't I get approval for the podcast? I was killing it with the gaming channel. No, you weren't. Also, you already have a podcast that nobody watches, so why would the Berrics give you a podcast? Doesn't make any fucking sense. Even though this guy's a nice fucking guy. He's a good dude. I like him. But he is an employee. This guy is an employee. He is not like the star of the show. I don't think he will ever find success as the star of the show. I think he would be a good role player, and what he needs is somebody to tell him, here's what you do, here's what you don't do, to have solid and distinct lines where he can be useful in the roles that he is useful and excel in the areas where he has potential. But, to be this jack of all trades guy and also like to try to be in front of the camera, it's just not good. He doesn't have the charisma or the personality or the creativity to do something like that, in my opinion, based off the videos that I have seen from him. Anyway, he like shoots a fucking Michael Myers Berrics video, which he says did really well. And I guess we could click on it. He wouldn't get like approval for anything from the Berrics dudes. So what he would do is he would spend his own money on these Berrics videos, and then he would shoot these videos, and then he would like bring them to the Berrics like independently, having shot them and edited them, put them all together. Then he would bring them to the Berrics guys and ask if he could upload. So he essentially got zero support from the Berrics at all at any step, but just continued to try to like make an impact and like prove his value or whatever to the Berrics dudes. Where if you look at this video, it's not horrible. It's not super bad, but it's not very good either. Like, you can tell, like, this looks like a fan of the Berrics went to the Berrics and, like, put together what they thought was, like, a Berrics-style video. The filming's not very good. Like, the lighting is kind of jacked. Like, there's these big, like, LED lights that are kind of hard to look at behind. It looks like somebody, like I said, it looks like somebody was inspired by a Berrics video, got to go to the Berrics and film stuff. It's just not up to par with their usual stuff. And later on, Berra says, like, you know, none of the skaters really liked you. People didn't like working with you. And I don't know to what degree that is true, but I think that it is telling that, you know, the only people that it seemed like would work with this dude were like Ricky Glazer, Garrett Jenner, and if you look at the guests that he was able to secure for his gaming show, Eco, Garrett Jenner, Manny Santiago, Greg Rodriguez, Levi Loffelberger, Zach Moore, Ricky Glazer. It's not exactly an all-star group of people that this guy was attracting. So I don't know to what extent Berra was exaggerating, but it does seem like this guy wasn't super well-liked at the Berrics. That's the impression that I get, because if he was, he would be attracting some more desirable names. So apparently this Halloween video makes it onto the Berrics. He said it did really well. I have no idea how many views it got, because Berra deleted all of the things from the Berrics channel that the Hyphenate was involved in, which is weird. That makes Berra look really guilty. He also did like a Christmas one or whatever, and yeah, and I think the Christmas one got uploaded, but the Christmas one, oh my god, the Christmas one is a real tough watch, I gotta tell you. He like uses this song that he made with this girl, and I'm sorry, the song is so bad. It's like this Christmas like hip-hop remix thing with this girl singing, and she is so off-key. I'm surprised it even made it onto the website. No idea how many views it got, but it was not an easy watch. So basically, this guy like wants to work for the Berrics, but he's producing content that is not at like a quality that is consistent with what the Berrics expects. Anyway, we're through most of this. I promise we're through most of this. My recap. Next thing that happens is Berra hits him up and is like, brother man, I got this fucking job for you. It's so sick. You're the perfect guy. I couldn't think of a better guy. You're my man. By the way, did I tell you how good you smell? I've missed you so much. Come to this caffeine meeting with me. You're the guy that I need. And of course, he's like, okay. Berra's like an abusive ex-boyfriend, and he's like the helpless ex-girlfriend who can't say no. Here's what happens. Berra wants him to run the tech side of these live shows that the Berrics is going to do through Caffeine. If you've seen the skate show or like any of the live Battle of the Berrics shit, the technical aspect of that to run all of the equipment, I think they were using equipment that was essentially identical to what he had brought to the Berrics. So he already had the tools and the skills to run a live show, to do the production side of things, and that's why Berra wanted to use him for this Caffeine deal, and Caffeine was offering the Berrics 6 figures, which could be a lot of money or a lot of money. And Berra said this deal is very secretive. Don't tell anybody about this deal, which I guess he didn't think was that weird at the time. He just thought it was it was just secret for the sake of being secret. But the reason that Berra didn't want anyone to know about it is because he didn't want Hypebeast to know about it, so that all of the money from Caffeine could go directly to the Berrics. Anyway, Hyphenate got to like hire his own team. Half of it was his team. The other half was like guys that worked for the Berrics. And he said everything that he did and his team did was perfect. And then the Berrics guys had no idea what the fuck they were doing. Maybe that's true. Maybe that's not true. I don't know. But he ended up getting fired. So he's doing these live shows with the Berrics, and he's working for Hypebeast technically. And then his contract with Hypebeast ends, and he's getting paid for the live shows through the Berrics. The checks are coming from Steve Berra. He ends up, I don't know how many episodes he did. Maybe he did like half, but he was supposed to have signed on, I think, for 32 episodes with caffeine, and like Steve Berra's like in charge of it, so obviously it's going poorly, like nothing's getting done on time. Steve Berra keeps switching dates around, and they were supposed to have done all 32 live shows. I think this is the skate show, by the way, that he's referring to, the show that we all know and love, with Steve Berra as the host, even though Steve Berra says he hates being in front of the camera. Crazy. He keeps finding himself there somehow. Anyway, he gets fired, and then he goes to Hypebeast because he's like, man, I was supposed to do 32 shows. I only did X amount. He doesn't say how many he actually did, which makes me think it was towards the higher end of what he was able to complete before they kicked him off, and not the lower end, or else I think he would have shared that. This is what I'm talking. This guy is honest, but he sometimes omits information that could possibly change your understanding of what's going on. Though he says that the way that he settled for the remaining shows with the Berrics is they gave him a laptop. What is a laptop worth? Like $2,000 if it's good, $3,000 if it's like pretty good, $5,000 if it's really good. So I don't know how many shows that would be worth. So he probably did most of the shows that he was supposed to do before they booted him off. So I think he had some legal grounds for it. He says he knew he had legal standing between emails, and he had like evidence to say that he was supposed to be on for the 32 shows, and they kicked him off. Why'd they kick him off? They probably thought he was annoying or some shit, and people didn't like him. I don't know. He doesn't seem that bad to me, but I wasn't there. So there had to be a reason that they were trying to get rid of him. It definitely feels like we're missing some pieces of the puzzle. Now, even with the complete picture, I think Berra would probably still look terrible because it's Steve Berra and he is terrible, so he'd look terrible. But there are some things that I don't feel fully fleshed out. Anyway, he goes to the Hypebeast guy because he likes the Hypebeast guy, and he says, yo, dude, they kicked me off and I didn't get to finish out the remaining episodes that I was supposed to have running this caffeine show, and I want to be either bought out or I want to get my spot back so I can make the money that I'm owed. And the Hypebeast guy goes, what money? Because Berra had told the Hypebeast dude that the Berrics was doing this partnership with caffeine for free. So now Hypebeast knows that Berra went behind their back and is making all this money without them, even though they own half of the Berrics name. Now, there's 2 more videos after this one. Was that good enough? Am I making any sense? I'm losing my mind here. 2 days ago, Steve Berra and nonviolent ambush and payoff attempt. What happened here is this poor bastard, even his friends are turning against him as he meets up with his friend after that first video has been uploaded, and he's going to have lunch with his friend, and his friend tells Steve Berra where they are, which is like, holy shit, what an absolutely terrible fucking friend that is. His friend betrays him, and Steve Berra shows up, and basically they have this like stupid conversation where Berra's like, you're slandering the name of the Berrics, dude. And he's like, did you watch my video? Everything that I say in there is true. And Berra's like, did I watch the video? Well, no, I mean, I've seen clips of it, which is like, oh my God, dude, you're so fucking annoying. And then this guy's like, well, you have to watch the video if we're going to have this conversation, or it's pointless because we're talking about something that you don't even understand. Now, I just want to say in my summary of this, I kind of downplayed how shitty Berra has been to this dude, just because it's like, there's so many instances of Berra being shitty. This video would be like twice as long as this dude's original one if I was to explain everything in detail, then give my opinion. So I kind of summarized it. And this dude does a good job of summarizing his case. I'm sure you guys have already seen it, so I'm giving like a different perspective on it. Anyway, the Hyphenate tells Berra, he's like, well, what we should do is we should do a video where I explain my case and you explain your case, and then we upload that, which, I mean, obviously Berra's not going to want to do that because Berra has been a dick and he doesn't really have a leg to stand on, and that's not how Berra operates. Berra's not going to sit down debate style with this doubt me guy and like hash it out when this dude has all these receipts and Berra is like bordering on like a psychotic break 85% of the time. Even Berra knows that's not going to be a good idea for him. Berra tells him, he's like, no, man, I don't like being the star. I don't like being on camera, which again is like, haha, that's crazy, Berra. For somebody who doesn't like being on camera, you do end up on camera a lot, which is of course just like a completely phony reason that he's giving. But everything that Berra says is phony. Berra really wants him to delete this video, and that's what the meeting is about. And one of the strategies that Berra enlists is he tells this guy, like, your video could sink the Berrics. Your video could ruin the Berrics. Think about all the employees of the Berrics and the fact that they have families. He never takes responsibility for anything. You know, if Berra fucks up, then he says to then he says to the person that he's talking to who's holding him accountable, well, you can't hold me accountable. Think about the consequences of you holding me accountable and how those could affect other people. Instead of looking at himself and being like, what have I done that has led to this outcome? How has me being a shitty person and a shitty boss, how has that put other people in jeopardy? He doesn't think about it that way. He only thinks about the consequences, not what has led to the consequences, and he wants to blame somebody else for those consequences, even though he is at the end of the day responsible for them. Because apparently Berra's going around spreading lies about this dude, saying that he sucks or whatever. We don't know what he's saying, what's true, what's not true. But this dude says he's just making these videos out of self-defense. So, Berra at the end of the day is responsible for all of this shit. He was this dude's boss. He's a terrible communicator. And Berra's the one who put himself and the Berrics and the employees of the Berrics, if this really could sink the Berrics, which it won't, but if it really could sink the Berrics, it would be 100% Berra's fault, not this guy's fault. Anyway, at the end of this conversation, I think Berra finally tells him that his videos just sucked and says that none of his gaming videos got over 5K, and this guy's like, actually, they got 10K, and then they end up saying that they are going to meet again, and they don't meet again. That's the end of that. He gets ambushed. It's a funny situation, I guess. The last thing that happens is Berra sets up this burner account to talk shit on this Hyphenate guy. And the first comment that he leaves on, I think this is on the Berrics, is, if you guys knew the real story, you wouldn't be supporting Joe. Nothing went down the way he said it did. Not once did he show any sort of proof in his video, and all of you took his word for it. Come on, man. He's just a mad 36-year-old who did it all for the clout. And Hyphenate wants everybody to know that he's not actually 36, even though we don't know how old he is. I'm assuming he's 35 and a half. He got paid back, by the way. He didn't spend anywhere close to 10K like he said he did. So yeah, Hyphenate didn't get paid back. I don't think he just settled with the Berrics and got paid a laptop. Come on, dude. Where are your fucking balls, man? They're giving you a laptop after everything. You walk away with a goddamn laptop? Berra on his burner, he seems to not be that concerned with whether people know that it's actually his burner or not. Guys on the Berrics YouTube channel asking about where all the Hyphenate content is, which is hilarious because had these videos not come out, nobody was asking where the Hyphenate content was. I didn't even know this guy existed until all this shit. I didn't know he'd been working at the Berrics for 2 years. On his burner, Berra says, we took them down. No one liked them, and the numbers they put up were awful. Joe was like a little cousin running around doing all of these things we did not approve or care for. His video is slander and literally puts up no evidence. He's bitter because he's unsuccessful at 36 and is still putting out content. A kid could do better. How old's Berra, by the way? Isn't Berra 50? I don't know why he's doing all this age shaming here. What's funny is Berra claimed that he didn't care about any of this stuff, but then ambushed this guy at lunch, and this is how crazy Berra is. His version of damage control is that he creates a burner account and then argues with people in Berrics comment sections on his burner account. That's going to potentially sway public opinion or have any effect on the outcome, is to just spread misinformation as much as he can and just deny everything. I don't know if he actually thinks that'll work or if he's just angry and wants to vent, so he gets on a burner where he says we. I don't know. Berra's so fucking stupid. The last part of this that I think is hilarious, and I just want to close this out on, is this dude, I don't know when this came out. Let's see. While he was working at the Berrics 5 months ago, made this little podcast clip with 140 views where he says, it's about him going on tour with only $35. True story with the Hyphenate. Berra on his burner, I think this was months ago that Berra wrote this. He put cap. He wrote cap. Berra left cap he doesn't believe the story about going on tour with $35. So what's hilarious about this is Berra, while this dude was working at the Berrics, Berra hated this Hyphenate guy so much that he went on a burner account to comment on just one of the random things this dude had uploaded just to talk shit in the comments. I mean, that's pretty much it, I think, guys. Oh, God. 100K views is going to hit, and then did 2 follow-up videos. In each of the follow-up videos, he's like, man, I really didn't want to talk about this, even though everything I upload gets 50 views, and then I talk about Berra, it gets 100K views, but I really didn't want to talk about this. Then he didn't want to talk about this one either, and he also didn't want to talk about that one. So, yeah. And then he's launching Doubt Me Skate. So, all in all, even though I think that the Hyphenate put himself in a position where he endured a lot of torment and, you know, horrible and unfair treatment, extremely unprofessional leadership by Berra, he should have walked away like a million times and didn't. He just took it in the shorts over and over and over again, and now he's making these videos exposing Berra, as he should, for all of the mistreatment. So I don't think either person, like, obviously Berra's way worse in this situation, but I think the Hyphenate is also, like, kind of a for allowing this to happen for so long. But all in all, like, you know, this dude's not even in that horrible of a position now. At least people kind of know who he is, and he's using this opportunity to try to launch his own, like, skateboard media, like, conglomerate that's going to be like he wants to be like a Berrics / Braille competitor, and it's going to be called Doubt Me Skate. Good luck with that. I hope you win. I hope you defeat the Berrics. I hope that Doubt Me Skate, like, makes the Berrics go bankrupt and moves into their warehouse, and there are cool Benihana trick tips and shit that I can watch. Yeah, that's it, guys. Thanks for watching. Go fuck yourself.
What do you call this trick?